Hey Stampers, welcome back to my virtual stamp club. So glad to be here today. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these three beautiful cards with the bundle called Dragonfly Garden. I actually got this bundle, I think in October. I went to a virtual Stampin' Up event. Hey Phyllis, welcome. And make a comment when you log on, that way I'll know you're here. I know Beth is there, probably. She posted on my page, so I know she's watching us. So welcome, Beth. So yeah, I went to a virtual event. Hey, Deanna, welcome. With Stampin' Up. I didn't go anywhere. Actually, I was at home. It was called On Stage. And so for On Stage, they used the Dragonfly Garden bundle, so I had to purchase it if I wanted to play along. So that was this Dragonfly Garden stamp set and the punch, which honestly was a no-brainer for me because I would have bought it anyway. I really have had fun playing with it. And then also this designer series paper, which I've pretty much used a lot of it. It's called, what is it called? Dandy Garden. Anyway, so I got those three things for On Tour, and these aren't the cards that we made it On Tour. Let me show you what we did make. All right, so there was this one, and I think I did a variation of it, or I can't remember now. It's been a while, which I thought was really fun, and it's pretty easy, just squares of paper. And actually, I have a bunch of leftover squares now from making my cards, so I can make more of these. And this is like really quick and easy. This one, I did two of those. Now these dragonflies are actually punched out of the dragonfly paper, which was fun right there. That paper fits perfectly on the punch, and so you can punch out your dragonflies and you don't even have to color them. So you can get quite a few cards from the paper that they give you of those dragonflies. So those were pretty easy. I did some green ones. So we kind of did like an online class and made these cards, but I made a few extras and kind of varied them a little. And so these are all just really quick and easy. And notice this really cute little ladybug. They also sell these ladybugs trinkets, which are adorable. I don't know if you can see them. So yeah, there's a cute ladybug trinket. So we made the green ones, and then there's one more blue one, and I don't remember. I think I might have just made this one, or maybe I just did a variation. But yeah, those are the cards that I made while I was watching On Stage last fall. And it was a lot of fun. It was a really fun event, really well done. And so, yeah, we used these. I bought the whole suite, I think, to do that class. But I really enjoyed it. And so then, winter hit, and I just wasn't in the mood for dragonflies. We had such a nasty winter. So I hadn't really played with it until this month. And I have to say, I had so much fun making these cards. It's just a fun stamp set. And hey, Carol, welcome. So like I said, I just had a lot of fun playing with them. So the first card we're going to do is this blue Misty Moonlight one. And here is the formula, the recipes. If you watch the video later, you can stop it here and take a screenshot, and you could see like all the dimensions of everything you need. So yeah. All right, so I took a half sheet of paper, 5.5 by 8.5 of Misty Moonlight, and folded it in half. And you can score it too, but I prefer this folding method because that way I can line up my corners. And sometimes when you score it, the corners don't line up perfectly. So that's really why I usually don't do that. Maybe I just don't score very well, but you really have to score it well to get it in the right place. All right, so there that is. And I kind of cheated, or I don't know what. I gave you a little sneak preview. This is going to be in the new catalog, which you guys all got a copy of. This is called the Scallop Contours Dies, and it coordinates with this color and contour set, which we will be using next month. But wow, I just love it. I couldn't keep my hands off of it, so I went ahead and used it in this club, and it to me is one of those must-have die sets. I just really love all these elements, and I know I'm going to use them a lot. And then, yeah, this side one, which is what we're going to use today. So anyway, this is, well, it's missing a few pieces, but yeah, Scallop Contours Dies. You can't get it yet, but you can get it on next month's club. All right, and so then I took a 1-inch strip of paper, and that's going to go on the inside, as well as this is from the Scallop Contours Dies, this element. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to cut out this paper and cut out that element, because we actually need one on the inside and one on the outside. So grab my cutting machine. And so I'm going to unfold this paper, and I'm going to put it, move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to put this fold line right on this line, and that way sometimes when you run your paper through the Big Shot, you get a line where it ends. So I want the ending to be right where my fold already is. So I'm going to do that. And then what you can do is take your 1-inch strip of paper and just lay it here. I'm lining up the edges. So I want my cut line to, I don't want to have a gap like it's actually going to be on the inside, but you can see about where I want this to be. And so it's going to be right about there. And so I actually have a cutting guide because I already cut these out for you guys. And so I'm just going to use my cutting guide. So yeah, I'm just going to set it on there, and I'm going to put this on my cutting guide. And if you want, you can use some tape or something to hold this down. Maybe I will. Oops, I just wiggled it. All right, cannot do two things at once. All right, so I'm just going to use some washi tape to do this. And I'm going to put the washi tape on the part that's going to be cut out. That way, if it sticks to my card and comes, it won't ruin my card. So anyway, let me line that up again. That's where I want it. And I'm going to take the washi tape and tape it down. I'm taping it. This is going to be cut away, so if this washi tape sticks to it and tears it a little, it doesn't matter. And once again, my fold line is right there. And I'm going to put my cutting plate on top. And run it through. Which is always hard to do sideways for the screen, but I want to leave this here because I want to do one more cutting. Alrighty, let me get back on camera. So there's the first one. And see, isn't that cute? It's got the little dots, and I really just think this is a fun die set. I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to want it. Alright, so take that off. And I'm going to cut a white. Do I have a white scrap? I got another one over here I know I can use. Alrighty. Oh, I already got it out. Hello. Alright, so by the way, I didn't really go over this, but I've gone over it many times. This is the new die cutting machine, and I'm going to use the big thick 1 plate. On top of that, I use the 2 plate, and then I use my 2 acrylic plates. So I'm going to put the paper between it. So I'm going to put this paper down. Then I take the die and put it cutting side down. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the little sentiment flag. And I'll show you in a minute where I got that one from. It's another must-have die set that I've used a lot. It's going to be in the new catalog. But let me run this through first, and then I'll show you that. Oh, hey, Pat, welcome. You're going to want to go back and catch the start of this video because I showed a bunch of cards that I made at Onstage using this stamp set. So when we're done, go back and watch the starting, Pat. All right, so here's the little flag. And here's this. Pops right out. Alrighty. So, but we're going to need 2 of those. But I already cut one out, so you don't have to watch me cut it all out again. You know what to do. Let me tidy up a little. And we will start on this card. Okay, so I think I cleaned up a little bit too well here. Got to get my stuff out again. I have Blair today, so I'm kind of my granddaughter Blair, but she's a lot of fun. But it's sort of hard to get ready for Facebook Live when you're watching a baby. But she's taking a nap now. Greg's home watching her, but so I could do this, which I really appreciate him doing that. All right, so I've got my mat for my Stamparatus that I really like to use for stamping, and also the grid paper. It's just perfect size for on screen. Hey, Marilyn, welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and, here, I'll put this card here so you can see where I'm going with this. I'm going to stamp this flower out, which is so pretty. So I'm going to take the Memento pad. You know, I really like cone flowers. They're one of my favorite flowers. Maybe they are my favorite flower. I don't know. So this stamp set really kind of spoke to my heart. And so you notice I'm inking, when the Memento pad's kind of a smaller pad compared to the regular Stampin' Up! Pad. So I like to stamp it upside down. And just, somebody asked me, she wasn't real familiar with why am I using Memento. It's actually, Stampin' Up! Doesn't carry their own black. They've had some issues over the years with black, and they've finally just gone with Memento, which works really well with the blenders. If you use a water-based black, your blenders are going to make the black run. So that's why I use Memento. The other black that they carry is StazOn, which also works well with the blends, and it's a really permanent ink. But the problem with the Memento is that it stains your stamps, and I really don't like that. So not Memento, StazOn. Did I say Memento? So Memento does not stain your stamps, and I really like it. It works well. It's a nice crisp black. And Stampin' Up! Does sell it, and they sell the refills, so that's totally awesome. All right, I'm going to stamp this. Stop talking for a minute. So that's where I use Memento. All right, so I lined it up, and I'm just kind of pressing it a few times because it's a fine line stamp, and you just want to make sure you press it hard enough. Not so hard, though, that you get this little outline thing. So you got to kind of be careful, I guess. All right, so there it is. And now we're going to color it. For this, I used the blends, but you can use anything that you have. You don't even have to color it. You know, this will be quite pretty not colored. So if you don't like coloring, you don't have to. But I like coloring, and I find it to be very soothing and just kind of, you know, great therapy, right? So I'm going to go ahead and color this. The Stampin' Blends has a fine tip and a brush tip. I'm going to use a fine tip, and this is Misty Moonlight, the light one of the Stampin' Blends. So I am standing up, so I'm not usually very good at coloring while standing up, but you guys can color yours too if you want to, or if you don't want to, you certainly don't have to. So our hostess this month, by the way, is Joan. She's not able to watch it today because she's having a computer issue, but I imagine she'll go back and watch it. I don't think you guys really got to meet Joan. I know some of you know Joan. She joined us right before COVID hit, and so she's a member of our club, and she's the hostess today. All right, so there's 3 cone flowers. I colored them, and now I'm going to go ahead, since I'm working on the cone flower, I'm going to use my light Mango Melody fine tip side and get those little centers. I mean, I know probably not really blue cone flowers, but in my therapy world there is. So yeah, if your husbands don't like you guys buying Stampin' Up! Products, you tell them that it's cheaper than therapy, and they should be glad that you have such a fun hobby. Because it is fun, and you can also, hey Noah, you can also make a lot of gifts, you know, cards and 3D projects. I know before I was a demonstrator, I mean, I have to buy more than the average person as a demonstrator because I have to show you guys the new products, which, you know, is not a hardship. It's really fun for me. But my rule of thumb was to make, if I would make at least one gift for somebody from my new stamp set, then I felt like I got my money's worth because, you know, you would buy something anyway for that person. So if you make one gift out of your stamp set, you've really kind of paid for it, right? And plus that, then they get a special homemade gift from you, which who doesn't like homemade gifts? So that's, that was kind of how I justified my habit before it became a demo. And I made a lot of homemade cards for people, and they loved them. My sister, I sent her some, and she wouldn't even use them. She just framed them and put them up. So, and that's a big compliment because she's a really talented artist. She paints and stuff, and so that really honored me. I thought that she would do that because I always felt like she was the more artistic of the two of us. She was into all kinds of art things in high school and stuff. So yeah, that's probably, I don't know. I might come back with this green later on, but this was a light Mossy Meadow. I'm going to take the dark Mossy Meadow now and just do a few highlights. Whoops. I hate it when that happens. Hold on, I'm having technical difficulties here. Sometimes the pen comes apart. You just got to push it back together, and it's fine. And so I'm taking the fine tip side, and I'm just going to highlight some of these darker ones. I mean, the veins. I don't know what I just said. It's probably stupid, whatever it was, but hopefully you know what I mean. Sometimes I don't always say the right thing. Am I on screen there? Okay, cool. All right. So then I took Calypso Coral, which is the same color as this paper here, which is what I love about Stampin' Up, that you can have coordinating inks and paper and ribbon. It really makes for a very professional looking finished product. All right, so I'm just gonna do these little flowers, and I'm really not being very careful. You don't really have to be. Just kind of quickly color them, and really it looks good. So I'm going to leave those for my purple color. I'm just going to quickly color these in. I probably would be a little more careful if I wasn't on screen, but honestly, I wouldn't be too much more careful. It really ends up looking just fine. So there, that looks good. And then last, I'm going to take the dark Highland Heather, and I'm going to color, using the fine tip, the rest of these little flowers. So this is your therapy card. I guess it takes a little while to color it, but who said that only kids get to color, right? We can color as adults, and I think it's a lot of fun. I missed a flower there, so I guess I'm going to have to get my Cameo Coral back out and color it. But, yeah, that looks... Anyway, I missed quite a few, it looks like. Oh, well. Let me get the green out again. This is the light one. I'm just going to color that. I missed a bunch down here. I'm sure yours will all look better. And yeah, I missed these guys right here. Just want to catch them real fast. All right, I probably missed a few, but I see I missed a purple flower there. But don't you just love these blender pens? If you don't have them, yeah, they're a little more expensive than the regular markers, but they're so pretty. They have such vivid colors, and I really enjoy using them. All right, so this will go here. This will go inside. Let's see, I need to stamp on this one. I'm going to turn it to the left. And this Sentiment for a True Friend came out of the Dragonfly Garden stamp set. So once again, I'm using my Memento because it's really the only black I use. Sometimes I use, hold on, let me stamp this. Oops, I kind of got it crooked. Oh well. I have a better one, so I'm just going to use my better one. Should have stopped talking and tried to stamp it, I guess. Okay, something fun I did on this card was, this is a rhinestone, and I just took my Misty Moonlight marker, and I think I'm going to use the dark one for that, just so that it sticks out more, and I just colored a rhinestone. So because these are alcohol markers, you can do that. And so that way I have a coordinating rhinestone without having to buy like every rhinestone color. So that's a really cool trick. So I did that. And the other thing I learned, so if you look at this stamp set, you notice there's not a small Dragonfly. There's only two big ones. But if you look at the punch, there's a small one. And so if you punch it out, it's going to look like this, which is fine. I mean, it's okay. But if you want it to look more like a dragonfly, I learned from some demonstrator, I don't even know who, how to do that. And so this is what you do. So there's two dragonflies in here. One has like a black body and one has more of a white body. This technique works better with the black-bodied one. And so what I did was I stamped the big dragonfly. And you don't really need to stamp the whole thing because the little dragonfly is pretty little, right? So here, let me get this, make sure you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to stamp the bottom part of this dragonfly there. Let me clean it real fast. And now I take my punch and you do it upside down so you can see what you're doing. And you want to line up this smaller dragonfly. And see, look at that. You now have a small dragonfly punch or stamp, and it turns out pretty good. So if you want your small dragonfly not to be just solid, you can do what I just did. And so that's a fun trick. So now we are ready to assemble this card, and so I'm going to do that. Pick your adhesive of choice. I personally am a fan of double stick tape, which I know Stampin' Up! Doesn't. I make a lot of cards and I find it to be the most cost effective for me. I just like using it. So I'm going to put it on the inside of my card and I line it up perfectly. With the corners, I'm kind of hovering it till I make sure that the edges are lined up right. because once you get this down, it's hard to move it. That's one of the drawbacks of using double stick tape. And it looks like I did not do a good job. Well, I'll have to put another strip on there or something. In fact, I think I have some little scraps. I wonder what this would look like. What if I did this? I have like these little scraps. And so I think I'm going to put one there. And so now it's going to peek out a little, but it'll look better. So I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do that with glue because it's so skinny. So this is how you fix your boo-boos if you have them. And really, I mean, no matter how experienced of a crafter you are, it's easy to have boo-boos. And so it's good to have ways to fix your little boo-boos. And so that's how I'm going to fix mine. It's here. Perfect. Love it. And now I'm just going to take some scissors. And actually, I kind of like that. It's really kind of sets it off. So yeah, that was a happy mistake, as Marilyn likes to say. It looks good, and now it doesn't look, it looks good. I like it. All right, and I'm going to take this, hey, Kathy. Kathy is on. She used to be in our stamp club many years ago. Real sweet lady. So if you want to come join us again, we're still meeting. Would love to have you. Actually, we're only meeting virtually right now. I've told a few of you, but the reason I'm still meeting virtually, even though I know a lot of you have your COVID shots, and I have mine even, is that Rachel has high risk, and she's 15, and she's not eligible for her shot yet. So until she gets her shot, I'm not going to be meeting in person to protect Rachel. So I hope you understand, and I'll keep doing these live classes for you. And I'll probably keep doing them still after we meet in person again, because I know some of you like the virtual format, and I actually have some long-distance customers now, so I know that they like it too. So there. So this, I'm probably just like doing this and not, oh, thanks to Carol. She likes my technique, which I stole from somebody else, but hey, there's no new ideas out there. So if you see a good idea, you copy it. And so there, I just taped the solid panel on the inside, and I'm going to take my little colored rhinestone, which I'm going to grab my little pokey thing, which probably has a better name than that, but that's just always what I've called it, to pull this off. You want to use some kind of tool. And I'm going to put that down here in the corner, and I'm going to tape this on. Down here, right in the corner. I just want to make sure that you line it up with mine screen. I just have to check that with the make it parallel to the bottom so that it looks good. And then I just took this little dragonfly and I took a glue dot, and I always just put it on top of the glue dot like that to pull it off, and I put it right here, and there we go. How cute is that? Really like this card. Oh, I did tell you I was going to tell you where I got this little flag from, and that came out of this set here, which is called Tasteful Labels Dies, and it is in the new catalog. I find myself using it a lot for card elements, so it's really one of my favorites right now. Actually, these two both are my favorites, really. You can't get this one yet, but you'll be able to get it next month with the new catalog. And if you didn't get your new catalog yet, contact me and we'll get you one. All right, so there's our first card done. Now we're going to move on to the second card, which is somewhere. I don't know where I stuck it. Maybe it's in this pile of cards. Don't you hate that when, you know, it's like, you know, it's right in front of your face. Like I was looking for something last night. I cannot find it. Oh, there it is. I know it's here somewhere. All right, this is the next card that we're making. So to make this card, here is my formula. Which, like I said, you can stop the video here and take a screenshot if you want and zoom it in so you can see the writing. I know it's sort of small, but this is Mossy Meadow, 4 1/4 by 11, so it's cut horizontally instead of vertically. No, vertically instead of horizontally. Whatever. Anyway, once again, I like to fold the corners to line. I kind of push it to the corners, line up, and then fold it in half, and then I'll take my bone folder and give it a nice crisp edge, and there we go. Now, to get this card is really fun. It's got a little peekaboo window, and I stole the idea from a demonstrator who did it with a different stamp set, but I thought, oh, that'd be perfect for the Dragonfly stamp set. So look at that. Isn't that fun? It's got a little 3D element, so it's fun, a lot of fun. All right, so first of all, I want to take and stamp my background butterflies. So let me do that using my favorite memento pad. I actually have 2 of these, and I ordered a 3rd one because I want to... These are really old, and so I've just noticed, even though I re-ink them, that sometimes they don't do well with fine line stamps. So I'm experimenting to see if a new one will do a better job. I have learned some tips and tricks about how to make fine line stamps work better, and I will be sharing that sometime, probably not today. But there's some things you can do to get a better image out of your fine line stamps, and I've learned them. So, all right, so these are, once again, strips from the Dandy Garden suite. The outside one, I'm going to go ahead and tape this on. Make sure my dragonflies are going the right way. And I liked the brighter side, so that's what I use. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it, like what looks good. Oops, I did a bad job there, sticking off the end. Let me try that again. There we go, much better. Alrighty, so I used rectangle stitch framelits dies, which is in the new catalog also, which I'm so glad because I used this one a lot too. So yeah, these are kind of my top 3, I guess, that I use now. All right, and I also, whoopsie, throwing my light around, used this die and cut it in half to get the little sentiment there. And once again, this die is out of the Tasteful Labels right there. So yeah, you don't even have to use this whole big thing. You can cut it in half this way or even this way, and it makes a cute little element on your card. All right, so I'm going to show you how I did that peekaboo window. I did tape it down. Actually, let me just go ahead and put the inside together first. So I just have white, basic white, which is 4 by 5 1/4. So I have a little frame going, which is pretty. And you know, when you have dark cardstock like this, you want to put a lighter color in this inside so that you can see what you're writing. And unless you use gel pens, which I don't have any gel pens right now, so I usually put white in there. And we're also going to put this strip inside in. So it was cut a little bit, not quite as high as that one. So it is 2 by 4 inches. I have to look at my little notes here. And I'm just going to go ahead and, I'm not going to tape it down yet. I'm putting tape on it, but I'm going to wait to tape it down until I get my dragonfly, get my window going and figure out where it's going to look the best. So, all right, so I'm going to move this and get my cutting machine. And it's all on the same settings as earlier that I told you about. Let me see if I can get it in the screen here. Okay, so once again, I'm going to open this card up. And I'm going to put the fold on the edge of my acrylic pad, mat, or whatever it's called. Acrylic thingy bob. Okay, and then I'm going to take, if I can get it unstuck, there we go. I'm going to take this little die and put it in the center. I'm just eyeballing it. So just take a minute to make sure I like where it's at. All right, that looks good to me. I'm going to just gently slide this in and just carefully set it down so that I don't wiggle my die. But it looks like it's in good position still. And by the way, I'm cranking through 2 pieces of paper here, so it's a little bit harder, especially when doing it sideways. But there you go. I'd much rather have my machine going this way. It's easier for me to crank than sideways. So yeah, it's not as hard to crank as it looks in the video because I am doing it sideways. But these pop, look at that, they pop right out. You're really not supposed to cut 2 pieces together because this bottom piece, if you compare the stitching, it's not quite perfect on the green one, but it's really actually not too bad. So you guys got these little extras in your kit. I don't know what you want to do with them. Throw them away if you want to, but I did throw it in there. So now you have a peekaboo window. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my, just going to try to do this on here. Maybe I'll stick this here. Alrighty, I'm going to stamp my little saying, "You're an inspiration." You know, you can do it either way. You can cut it out and then stamp it, or stamp it and then cut it out. Just how you're most comfortable. Usually you can do a better job if you stamp it first. So you can do a better job lining it up just perfectly. So there we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and then I can get rid of the cutting machine again. There that is. Now, so if you already stamped it like I just did, you want to make sure that this center line is below the writing, if that makes sense. So, because we're going to cut this in half. So yeah, I just want to be careful with that. And let me slide it a little bit right. So that looks good. Probably going to cut off the bottom part of my P there, but I guess that's all right. And here we go. I'm going to crank it through. And now I can get rid of the machine for now. All right, and you can take scissors, or you can take your paper cutter. I kind of prefer the paper cutter. I'm not very good with scissors. I mean, I don't do a straight line very well, so I'd rather do it with my paper cutter, but it is hard. It does wiggle. So I'm just lining those points up in the groove, and then I'm going to set this down. Then I'm going to just push it real hard so that it doesn't wiggle when I'm cutting. And it just goes right through. And so now you have the other side you can use for something else, but here is this one. And so that's just kind of a fun tip with how to get different shapes out of the shapes you already have. And we're going to go ahead, let's just go ahead and tape that down so I don't lose it. You know me, like it'd be stuck to my foot otherwise if I don't just get it on here, so I'm going to do that. And I just centered it in the middle. That looks good. Oh, I haven't done my dragonfly yet. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and, so in my sample one, yeah, I think I'm just gonna line this up here. So if we go like that, do you see how I'm peeking it out there? Of course, I've got tape on there, so I think I just stuck it to my card in the wrong place, but there we go. I didn't press very hard. So there. And so now you can see the coordinating DSP through the window. So cool, huh? All right, so now I need to stamp a dragonfly. And this time I'm going to use the open, remember last time I used the closed head one. I'm going to use the open-headed one just so you can see what it looks like. I'll get my mat back here, which I shared last time. This mat is the deluxe mat for the Stamparatus, but I like using it to stamp with. It's very nice. And this is the grid paper that goes with it. It's just the perfect size for making cards instead of using that big giant sheet like I used to use. Oh, I should be showing you what I'm doing. So let me ink up the dragonfly, and you just want to look at it and make sure you got ink everywhere because this is a fine line stamp set, and so you just want to make sure you got your ink there. And gosh, is this paper big enough? I think it is. Now, so I just want to show you something. I want to do it to the left of my strip. You don't want a strip that is just the perfect size for your dragonfly because you can't get it in the punch that way. And that's what I did. Like I cut this one just the perfect size, and then I couldn't get it in my punch. So then I just taped a little, handle on there so that I could shove it in there. But this one, I went ahead and just did it longer and then stamped it to the left so that I have something to hold on to. And honestly, I should have stamped it to the right because I would prefer to use it the other way, but whatever. All right, so I'm just lining it up upside down like I've taught you guys to make sure that it's in there perfectly. And it is. And there we go. So that cardstock is Calypso Coral. And there we go. So then I kind of took my dragonfly and I kind of just bent it like that. Can you see that? So it's like just around his body. And the reason I did that was, well, to give me a base to pop through this window. So then I took 2 glue dots, 2 or 3. Yeah, you want to make sure this is down really well because it's going to be pulled on a lot, right? As the card opening mechanism. So I'm going to go ahead and just use 3 on here. If it was just a normal embellishment, I probably wouldn't use this many, but it's not. So if you notice the tail, my glue dot's going to be a little bit wider. So I'm just going to fold it under so that it's not sticking out. All right, so there we go. And now I'm going to put it into my card. I'm folding his wings up, and I'm going to hold it down and kind of hover where I want him to go and push it down. And there he is. So I used the rhinestone coloring technique on this one again as well. I used 2 different sizes on this card. I used, I'm out of them on this sheet. Let me get this one. This sheet's got more. I'm trying to use up my other sheet that's about done, but I used, so there's the biggest ones, then the next biggest, the third smallest or whatever, and then the smallest. I use the middle sizes. And I'm just taking my brush side. I'm using dark Calypso Coral to match my dragonfly, and I'm coloring 2 of them. And I'm going to go ahead and get my pokey thing, or you can use the Stampin' Up tool. And I'm going to put that on. I put the big one kind of up towards the top of his body, which I've forgotten what it's actually called. Thorax, I guess it's called, right? Yes, I did do biology. And then I'm using the smaller one right below it. And that just gives it a little extra bling. And so I thought that This is actually a pretty easy card, you know, for a wow card, you know. So there it is. It's done. So that's our second card done. Now our third card is where I really started to have fun. Once again, I'm using the Dandy Garden Designer Series paper. And I did Mother's Day sentiments for your kits. Because this uses one whole sheet of 6x6, that's the size of the Dandy Garden, I couldn't make all of them the same. So I did 4 different designs. So these are the 3, and I'm going to make a 4th one today, which is different. And this is fun. It sits up like an easel card. And this one says Happy Mother's Day, but I used these elements from Many Messages, which I showed last time. Of course, now I pulled it out. That's right. So this is really awesome, and it's got that big die that cuts it all out. It says all kinds of things, and I just have like a whole basket full of them. I've just been grabbing them out and using them a lot. So I really like this Many Messages die stamp set, and there's a new one also in the new catalog. There's this one, but there's also another one with more sentiments, and I'm probably going to get that one too, because it's really nice just to grab a quick sentiment when want to make a quick card for somebody. All right, and yeah, okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to show you how I did this card, or whatever it's called. I guess it's a card. But it's a wow card because it's a Mother's Day card. And if you don't have somebody to give a Mother's Day card to, my mom's been gone for years, but I thought I'd give it to my daughter because I know she likes this color. But you could also say anything on there. Happy birthday. You could just stick on there whatever you want. Or keep it for yourself, right? Put it up on your mantle. All right, so these are the dimensions for everything, and you can, like I said, pause it here and take a screenshot if you want to save it for later. All right, so, but I'll go through it right now. So, all right, so first thing I did was take a 4 1/4 by 10.5 inch paper, and to tell you the truth, I actually took a whole paper and scored it and then cut it. So I actually did 2 at a time when I did this. So we're going to score it at a 1/2 inch, 1 3/4 inches, 3 3/4 inches, and 5 inches. Then I took the same color, although, you could have used a different color for the smaller panel if you wanted, but I thought that there was enough going on already with this DSP that I didn't need to throw in, more confusion. So this is the smaller one in the same color, for me anyway, 3 by 5 3/4 inches, and it's scored at a 1/2 inch and 1 3/4 inches. And they fold all the same direction. It's not Mountain Valley. They all go inward, if you will. So, all right, we're going to start with this big one. I took the DSP. I picked 2 coordinating colors of DSP. This one is 4 by 4. It doesn't look like it's 4 by 4. I feel like this one's 4 by... Oh, it's not. Oh, you know why? Because I ran out of paper. So this one's a little shorter, but it actually still works. But yours are all 4 by 4. So I'm going to tape that up there at the top. So yeah, you want to fold all these and use your bone folder to make nice crisp edges. And I'm going to use the blue side, so I'm taping the coral side. And I'm going to put it right there. And then this one is going to go right there. So I'm going to put tape on the corners of this one. Make sure I'm on the camera here. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to fold this down to do that. One, and then I just want to center it so that I have a border all the way around on there. So that's what it's going to look like. All right. So now to complete the box, I used tear and tape. When I do boxes or cards that really need to have good need to hold really well, I like to use tear and tape or sticky strip. I'm not sure Stampin' Up! Sells that anymore. You can also use double stick tape, but I probably would not use glue on this. But I like this tear and tape here because it's a little bit thinner. This is a 1/2 inch and my double-sided tape is a 1/2 inch, and I don't want it sticking out. So this just works a little bit better. So you put it on and you pull off the paper backing. Now don't tape yours down yet. Watch and see how I do it, because there is a trick to this. So what you want to do is take and fold this under. And then you want to fold, let me make sure, can you all see it? You want to fold it down here and then get the tape up top and then press it down. That way it's flat. It'll lay flat when you mail it, right? Otherwise it's not gonna lay flat. So oh dang, don't do that. I hope you guys didn't do that. I just did it backwards. Shoot. All right, I gotta use my brain here. I'm probably gonna destroy this. Rats. Oh, but it'll be covered up. It'll be okay. Don't tape yours, ladies. I'm being stupid. Oh, gosh. Oh, we're going to have some remediation on this one. All right, let me put a little more sticky strip on there. Holy cow. You're like, does she know what she's doing? Yeah, I do, but sometimes when you're live on the air, you just kind of lose your brain cells. All right, so yeah. No, I needed to fold 2 of these down to do this. Don't tape yours yet. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, that's right. All right, you want to fold it down to this line. I hope you guys didn't do what I just did. And if you did, let me know and I'll get you some more. Another one. Anyway, all right. So yeah, I'm going to fold it down here and do it. And I'm just going to, this is going to be covered up, my boo-boo. So only you guys will know what a Dumbo I am. It just goes to show that nobody's perfect, certainly not me. So I just taped down my boo-boo tear, and good. All right, that was sort of embarrassing, but hey, I hope it was good for a good laugh, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and tape this one here. And you want to tape it at the bottom with the folds up here at the top. You guys are being really quiet today. Let's hear some chatter in the comments. I know you're on there. I can see that there's people on there. All right, and I'm going to just hover it and make sure that I have good borders. All right, that looks good. And I'll go ahead and tape this down, and then I'll finish the Dragonfly, show you how I did that. All right, so you can see on this card that you don't want tape in this area. You just want to have tape down here, and you want to have it on this back flap. So let me put the tear and tape on that back flap. And the tear and tape is going to be in the new catalog, so if you don't have any, this is a really good, I use it quite a bit when I'm making 3D projects that require more stickiness or whatever. I'm sure there's a better word than what I'm giving you, but hopefully you know what I mean. And I'm just going to put just a couple of double stick tapes down here at the bottom. And I think I'll just put a little piece of tape right here in the center. Here, because I don't know how far up on here I need to put it, so I'll just put it in the center of this box. And once again, you want to squish it down flat. Now, I will say this card is an oversized card. And it really won't fit. It can fit in a standard envelope if you put this down further. Move the whole thing down like, you know, maybe to here. Can you see that? Down to here instead of up a little higher. But I really liked having this border on it. And I had a bunch of these bigger envelopes. So y'all got a bigger envelope. And this is a standard size envelope. It costs the same to mail them unless they're thicker. So, you know, that's what I did. But if you wanted to, you could tape it down further. You could put it like down here. And in fact, you could even just line this fold up with this top, and then it would fit into a standard size envelope. But that's not what I'm doing today. So I'm going to push it up a little and tape the bottom down. Once again, I'm squishing it flat. And then I'm going to take this fold it back. And the whole thing is like this, the tape sticking down. Squish it flat and tape it down. So now you can see, because I have this little extra bit, it won't fit. It will no longer fit in a standard envelope. I mean, it fits this way, but it doesn't fit this way. Hence the bigger envelope. But I really liked it better to do it this way, and I already had the envelopes on hand, so that's why I did it this way. But if you're going to do this again, you know, with a different paper and stuff, you could just push it down if you wanted to. Or you could even make this front panel a little shorter in your design, and that way it would fit into a standard envelope. But I don't have to worry about that today, so I'm not going to. All right, so next we need to do is cut this little element out, which I thought I had one, but I didn't, so I guess I'm going to have to cut it out and make sure it's not just like hiding here somewhere. Oh, I have some. Yeah, so I mean, I've shown you plenty of these how to cut out today, so I'm not going to show you again. And then I cut these little, so this came out of the new one that you guys can get next month called Scallop Contours. And this one came out of this one that I've already shown today numerous times. And so they just look really nice together. And, you know, I could have, let's see, what color did I decide to go with on this one? Yeah, I think I'm going to do yellow. I mean, I could do blue and keep it all blue, but I just kind of like the yellow, kind of gives it a little pop of color. So I liked that. And then the dragonfly, I have several dragonflies I've played with. I'm going to show you how I stamped this dragonfly though, but could do blue or I could do yellow. But if I was going to do yellow, I'd want to have 3 yellow things, and I only have 2 because you want to have odd numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the blue dragonfly on this. So let me tape down my yellow thing, my yellow element. And I'm just going to put tape on both sides and squish this flat and then kind of center it. Now to get this front panel, by the way, I guess I could have shown you, I could have actually stamped it, but all I did was just stamp it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And so that's how I got this dragonfly on there. Flower on there. Gosh, I'm starting to lose it, ladies. Alrighty. And so, you know what, I actually decided on this one, instead of doing Happy Mother's Day, because I don't need 4 Happy Mother's Day cards. I don't know that many people to give them to. I picked out these 2 from my words that I was telling you about earlier, and I'm going to put them on here. And I thought that that looked kind of small on the yellow, so I went ahead and thought it would look pretty if I layered it on this white one like that. So that's what I decided to do on this one. In your kits, though, you guys got one that said Happy Mother's Day. Once again, if you don't need a Happy Mother's Day card, you can put whatever you want to there, much like what I'm doing. So let me do that. Tape it down. And notice this is monochromatic in that I didn't color the flowers on this one. I just left them in black and white. And I think, you know, it's really pretty. You don't really always need to color stuff. Sometimes it looks prettier if you don't. And I feel like that this is one of those times. So I'm just going to put, because this is a skinny little thing, I'm going to put glue on the back of that one. And so this is Stampin' Up's multi-purpose glue, which is a really cost-effective glue. And it's really nice because you can set it down and you kind of have a minute where you can move it around and get it just in the right position before it totally sticks on there. So that's nice. There, that looks good. All right, so there's that. And just gonna, I thought it would be fun to kind of pop this one off the edge. And since I have, I mean, if I didn't have an oversized envelope, I could not do that, right? But it's gonna fit. So I popped this one up off the edge. I really like those many messages because you can like combine a lot of the sayings, which is what I'm doing now. Thank you for being you, sending a smile your way. And this would be a fun one to send to a special friend. And then the last thing I want to do is my dragonfly, but I want to show you how I did that because it's actually a stamp in the kit, in the set, so I'm going to show you how it works. Okay, so I got a piece of basic white, and I can use either dragonfly. I think I'll use the closed-headed one for this one. Actually, I'm going to do the open-headed one just so you can see the difference between the two. So I got my memento. I'm going to put it, actually open-bodied, the head is still black. I said that wrong. I'm going to go ahead and ink it up. This time I'm going to stamp it to the right because I didn't like it when I did it to the left. It was harder for me to hold. Gosh, I did a bad job. Let's try that again. Look, seeing in double. You always got 2 opportunities with a piece of paper. I'll be more careful this time, and that looks much better. All right, so this stamp set has it has, gosh, can I find it? What did I put? Oh, here it is. Okay. Sorry, not talking while I'm away because I don't want my voice to fade away. Okay, I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. This has, it's a watercolor image, and that intentionally stamps darker in some areas and lighter in others. And there's only one, which means you have to stamp this side, and then the other side, you notice the wings kind of go down, but your wings are curving up. It's not going to match perfectly, but by the time you're done, it actually looks just fine. So it doesn't quite fit in there anyway, so it just is intentionally done like that, and it looks fine. So, and you can stamp on or stamp off. I chose to stamp on. Let me just show you what I mean. So that's going that way. And this is going the other way. So see how it's kind of going down? But it actually looks fine by the time you punch it out. There we go. So I'm going to just line it up there and do the other way. And you can, instead of like going like, you can kind of curve it up a little. So if you kind of curve it up a little, it'll kind of go, instead of going down like mine did, it'll kind of go up a little. So I'm going to just curve it up. Am I on the screen here? I'm going to curve it up a little bit there, and it really looks fine. Actually, you wouldn't even have to cut it out. It still looks fine. Because that's the style of stamp, you know, it's darker in some areas and lighter, and it's not perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's the design, and I think it's really pretty. So now I'm going to line it up and punch it. So I just want to show you the difference between the two dragonflies. Maybe I'll show you on here. It might look better. So this is the open-bodied one, and there's the closed-bodied one. I kind of like this one better, and so that's what I'm going to use. But, I mean, this would have a place, too, and it's good to have different styles. All right, so once again, I want to 3D this, so I'm just going to put some glue dots down the center. And maybe before I do, I'm just going to fold the wings up again, like I like to do, kind of in a little square. Can you see that? I don't know if you can, but anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use 3 on this one as well, just because, I don't know, I feel like it. Probably don't really have to on this one. In fact, I shouldn't have put, you know what, don't put one on the tail, because the tail's going to be sticking out. I guess I'll make sure my tail doesn't stick out. This one, the tail stuck out. This one, I'm not going to have the tail stick out since I put a glue dot down there. And I think I'm going to put you can just decide on your card where it looks best. I mean, it could go anywhere, really. It could go down here, but then it would be like in the way of my sentiment. It could even go up here. But I thought it kind of looked best right here. And I would like my tail sticking out, but since I put a glue dot there, I'm not going to stick it out. I like it better when it sticks out. And he's done. It's done. So, before I recap the 3 cards, so these are the 4, let me just say this. These are the 4 possibilities that you got in your kit. And they're all just gorgeous. I mean, who wouldn't want any of them? I got a lot of paper out of this, a lot of cards out of this Dandy Garden suite, and I still have a lot more, so I could still make more. It's still available, but this will not be in the new catalog, so if you like it, you better get it now. They don't have special Dragonfly paper in the new catalog, so, and you guys should all have your catalogs now. Oh, I wanted to say one thing, and then I'll talk about the new catalog. So this is what we use today, the Dandy Garden Bundle. It is in the January to June mini catalog, and it's available as a bundle. And it's also going to be in the new catalog, and it's actually going to be available at a bundle price, so I was pretty jazzed to see that. A lot of times they put it in the new catalog but don't offer the bundle price, but they're going to this time. But not the paper, so you want to get that paper now if you like it. And if you're thinking about getting it. And if you're wondering where all these little elements come from, that's actually, if you buy the whole suite, it's like a paper kit that comes with it. Cassandra and I are really scratching our head trying to figure out where those came from, but that's where they came from. There's just a limited number of elements when you buy the whole suite. All right, so the new catalog goes live on May 4th, so it'll go live on our next catalog. If you like anything that's retiring out of this present catalog, you have to get it now. because after May 3rd, it's no longer going to be available. You should all have your new catalogs. If you don't, or if you aren't in the club and you want one, send me a private message or email me, text me, and I will get you one, or comment here below and I will get you one. And it goes live May 4th, and it's got some really cool stuff in there. So you're going to want it for sure. Oh, and these are the new in colors, which, hey, that does remind me. I gave you all bookmarks with the new in colors, but these are the new in colors. I should have said that earlier. I forgot to say that. And they're really pretty together, aren't they? I kind of like the jewel / soft subtle tones. They look really good together, so I really like it. And I'm going to have some special deals like ribbon samplers and things like that available that you can get next month of the new ribbon. The bookmark that I gave you. This one's not finished because it was a boo-boo, but the ribbon that was attached is actually the new in color ribbon. So you guys can see that ribbon. It's really pretty. I really like it. So I'm really excited about the new catalog. Try to think of something to do for a launch party. A lot of ums. Stop saying But it's good to see you all today, and I hope that you're doing well and that you all have gotten your COVID vaccine. I can't wait for this pandemic to end, and I know you all feel the same way. So keep in touch, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.